Hello, everyone. Welcome to Justice Served Daily. And I'm doing this quick update here. I first would like to thank everybody. I have had a lot of outreach from you, and I am doing better. I was hospitalized during the holidays and then got to come home and then had another incident. So none of it is a surprise. I know I deal with that issue, so I don't want to panic anybody or anything like that. I know what stuff I'm dealing with, but that's why I do true crime, because it was a goal of mine to do and try to help people and spread the word. So I do really appreciate the outreach from everybody. But I'm just doing this recording here because of some information that was updated on one of our topics that we addressed. And I wanted to cover that with you. And if you have watched the show, you know that as we covered the timeline and everything for it, that we talked about the social media and what was being utilized for CSAM and the Keegan Klein case. And we know what items and things were found on that CSAM, did a video and stuff on that. And that video also, we did a break off from that, that by itself included information about the Yellow app. So this was found while I was going over some information over on Evil CJ show, and they graciously asked me to come over there sometimes, and I do. And let me just show everything I need to show you here. And so as we look back to our timeline and things that we discussed, the reason that Yellow app was standing out is because after everything, after all these years of 2017 getting the info from Keegan, but then him not getting arrested until 2020, and then that arrest came because they had all of the details, which was found on each of the devices except the last one, which we know he ended up keeping. It was stuff deleted off of there. That's why there wasn't anything from that. Well, they have, I hope this is not showing and messing up here, but they sat here and then did not announce until April 11th of 2022 that the Indiana State Police had expanded their search into a whole completely different social media platform than they had before. And chat and they used, Keegan admitted to using, Facebook and all of that and getting them over to the other sites. But on this particular day, on Monday, April 11th, that is when the police said that they wanted to specifically ask people on the social media platform of Yellow. And it is now referred as Yubu. If you want to watch the full kind of in-depth video and research that I did on the company, on the owners, on the partners that started stepping up and putting millions and millions of dollars into this platform, please do so. But the police wanted to speak with anyone who interacted, again, with the Anthony Schatz account on any social media platform, and specifically for the Yellow app. So let's go out And we are going to first to this update when it was given at the time. Remember, this is April of 2022. Doesn't seem like we're 2023, but we are. So April 2022. So we have that information. It comes out all of a sudden out of the blue. We get this announcement of this. At the time, the other announcement was about that the police were heading to France. And why were the police having to head to France? Because that is where the Yellow app was created. That is where Yubu was formed. The creators it's a French established app. That's the only thing that this company has formed. So I was on with Evil CJ at the time, and all of a sudden we went to talk about this, and he had pulled it up. And what's interesting is, and hopefully you can, let me make sure, just want to make sure you're still seeing this. Okay. This is at the Yubu's website, and they've done a little bit of work to it. But the little bit of work that I wanted to show to you, obviously your place to be you, this normal language and stuff with it. If you go down, it will tell you that it is a French company. We are based in Paris, France. Again, this reason that this app, when it was yellow, was dangerous at the time because it is created for people to go on, and it's like a Tinder for teens. And it expects itself as that these teens are going to set up and they're going to meet new friends and new strangers and stuff like that, but it's used as this. And it can help you locate people by where they're located close by to you. And anybody could have that. And at the time when you connected to Yellow and signed up for Yellow, it had your pictures on there. It automatically had your Instagram and Snapchat, and it was automatically taking your location from there. So if I go in and I register that I am just a teenager and I want to meet other kids within 50 miles from me, or within the US or outside of the US, you can do this absolutely anywhere. So we went through all of this information and found the dangers of it. When you go watch it did Keegan Kline use the Yellow app to track? That can be for any predator. There have been predators who have been caught using that. We had some stories in that video if you want to go watch it. Here is where it got interesting. Under the safety hub that they have, if you go click on the law enforcement and you go down, and it talks about Yubu and being the social network. And again, it is based on a company called 12 App. 12 App only created this one app. It was called Yellow. It had trouble in some other countries, specifically Ireland. And then when it launched and was coming over here brand new, because it officially launched in 2015, which you'll see varying dates that will say what times it started or didn't start, it changed its name later and went to Yubu, but still had some of the same issues that was in there. So it's free for kids to sign up. And they said the age group is supposed to be between the ages of 13 and 25. And but they didn't have any qualifying information. So you can sit here and go sign up and say that you were 12, for example. And in the news coverage that we saw, it would automatically default and change your age to older, to the age of 13. So it goes through the safety of Yubu, the 12 app, talking about their being responsible. This is what I really wanted to call everybody's attention to just everybody. Data request, and then international data request is what I want to cover, because that would be what the Indiana State Police would be, correct? Or the FBI. It's going to be going to France trying to get information. So you're kind of curious, hey, I wonder if they ever got anything from Yellow app about somebody, aka somebody using Anthony Schott's profile, using the Yellow app, and did they have information and data showing them tracking particular people, right? So example, obviously, Abby and Libby. So in this, it says, if you present a law enforcement authority outside of France, 12 app will not be able to respond to your request for Yubu user data directly. In accordance with the international cooperation agreements, please contact the relevant French authority first so they can contact us on your behalf. If you wish to contact the French Central Directory of the Judicial Police, which is responsible for investigating and fighting serious crime in France, please write to them at the following address. And so below you see that it gives you the law enforcement address that you're supposed to write if you are a law enforcement only to be able to get this. It says, as a courtesy to non-French law enforcement, we will review and respond to properly submitted preservation requests while the international cooperation process between the law enforcement bodies or entities is undertaken. So, I mean, is anybody else? So here is at this company. Now, I remind you, this company does not make money off of ads. That's their big thing they promote. They don't sell ads. That's not how they make money. They make money for users who want to be in contact with more and more people and promote their videos or their, anything that they're creating, their images, and sharing it out to people and getting more connections with people. So at the time, they would let you purchase what was called powers for you to be able to do so. Well, guess what? 13-year-olds aren't paying for this app, and they're not paying to have more. It's free. They download for free. They connect with their friends, or friends, connect with other friends. And now, when a person would connect with them that they may not know, they're sitting here, suddenly we're giving their location and information to them as well. So now, if you want information about something going on, that Yubu is not even going to be, or Yubo, whatever, is not even going to respond to you. You have to write the French authorities first in writing. They're an online app, and they want you to do this in writing. They do talk about in cases where someone is at risk of imminent harm, such as death or serious physical injury, and 12 app has information that could help to avert that harm, sworn law enforcement officials can also contact the 12 app directory while the official processing is ongoing. So you got to have it ongoing, see, for them to contact you, and then you try to contact them. An urgent request is considered as one only when there is an imminent risk of death or serious physical injury to a person. All emergency data requests must be made by a sworn law enforcement official and come from an official law enforcement email domain if sent via email. It's unbelievable. So the ending user notification as a policy 12 app notifies UBO users before disclosing their data to law enforcement, unless providing such notice is prohibited under applicable law, would jeopardize an investigation, and or would put an individual at risk of harm. It is the responsibility of the requesting law enforcement authority to clearly indicate in their request whether any of these criteria are met. So I bring this up because this before was not there. This say you got to contact and write to the law enforcement first in France to get here. So some of this information, is scary and makes you think of, okay, we have companies here that creates apps. They are advertised and put on to Google, right? Google apps or on Apple. And then your kids are able to get those apps. Well, if those apps are created and they're here in the United States, they are supposed to follow the guidelines and everything from the United States. So I went further in to see what are the laws about this. And there is a video that tells it, and then I'm going to show you the actual links. But this video itself, I thought was pretty good. Here's what's sad. It's a old video that was put up about internet safety. And you will find that the laws really haven't been updated recently. There was two bills that did not pass about the Internet Safety Act, which I'll talk about. But let me show you this video and or let you at least hear it. Let's try this. This format of video is used for this, and I'll be putting all the video links and the website links in the information for all of you. So basically, the difference that if you're looking for it is that the SIPA is only handling for libraries and schools, where CAPA is more internet safety overall and requirements. I think the biggest point from here, again, this is something that was used to discuss with kids, and teachers can use it. Again, I'll be getting all of these links in there, is that this talks about writing letters to legislatures. Some of these laws that were put in effect were all the way back in 2000 and in 2008. And so when you look at how out of date that can be, it is pretty scary. So here I'm going to go just look right here. This is different bills we'll talk about. And let me go this way first. So the Children's Internet Protection Act, that's under the Federal Communications Commission. And then again, that's talked about libraries and schools, what they can do, what they can provide, what they're supposed to block. So they basically block or filter any type of obscene information and stuff that your kids get to, right? But that's not happening anymore. Kids have their own computers, they have their own phones, and with COVID, everybody was at home on the internet by themselves, right? So then you go to the Internet Safety Act, okay? So this Safety Act, or they call it safety because it's Internet Stopping Adults Facilitating the Exploitation of Today's Youth Act. And this was going to require that providers have to keep electronic communications on their service and on computer services for at least 2 years, and that they would keep information that would be like the IP address and those types of things from it. The bills that were passed to be part of this Internet Safety Act Neither bill was passed by Congress. This shows updates of 2009 and such too. So the Children's Online Privacy Protection Rule, that's the COPPA that they spoke to. Again, here's where we need to pay attention. This act, these laws, all of them for our country are requiring operators and websites, right, or online services directed to children under 13 years of age, operating on the websites or online services. So that means our laws are only written to cover the age of 13 and under. Well, isn't that interesting that this app would happen to make the age range from 14 to, they say, 25, which, by the way, when you go look at the website more, which I encourage you, it actually states that their average age of their employee is age 30. So it's disturbing, because this means that we have laws that are only going to sit here and protect your kids, and not that it is, but they're supposed to follow these laws at age 13 and under. But does that mean that an app that is created, for example, in France, who may be collecting and maintaining images, communications, whatever may be, then do not have to cooperate with the laws in our country? When you go into Google Apps or Apple, you're going to find that that app is listed as a 17 and plus if you go to look for it. But when you go in, when your kids go into it or find out other kids are in it, they're able to log into it as long as they are 14 and older. And now here we have a situation where we have children still not under the age of consent who are being solicited an app that is like a Tinder to meet up with strangers. And they think they're talking to kids, girls or boys, talking to other girls or boys. And they go think they're going to meet a new friend. And then they find out it's a grown man who's following them, who's watching them, who knows where they were located. So I think that one of the biggest things should be is that if there's apps that come from other countries, they should have to follow our laws to protect our kids. And I definitely think there should be laws that do not solicit the kids who are not of age of consent to be on an app that is encouraging them to go meet up with strangers. And there are too many examples of it. Again, I please ask you, go watch the video. It's the shorter version one. You can watch the big one that shows about everything that was caught on Keegan Klein's devices. Then go see the dangers of social media video I did. If not, go see the Yubu video. But I wanted to go and give this update because, as I said, Evil CJ and I were talking, and he pulled up the website. And when I saw the update of them wanting you to communicate directly to the police rather than their company to make it more difficult for the countries to contact them and get help for kids, that's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I will tell you, I'm at least calmer than I was when I first saw that. So, we're not sure if when our Indiana State Police or FBI, whoever it was, went to France to address the yellow app, right? And asked them about, here's this, we found this, what data can you give us? Did they cooperate? Did they facilitate the information like they were supposed to? Or did they give our detectives a hard time in protecting our kids and finding out information that we needed? So that is what information that I wanted to update everybody on. I will add the links, like I said, of the different laws. I encourage you to find out if your state has any particular or different laws at all. I encourage you to contact your legislatures and talk to them and find out about this bill that did not pass about safety for your kids. And why do we have the age stop at 13? Why not have the age stop at 16, 17? You know, age of consent, but we're going to have 13 years old. So again, I hope you found this information helpful and a good update that I wanted to give to you. I know there's a lot going on right now as we continue with the gag order and continue with the hunt for the jurors in other parts of the state, or in its particular part of the state, but to go into Carroll County. And hopefully we will be hearing something soon, very soon, in information. I would like to also share a tidbit of information that I have. I did send a request of a visitation log for Keegan Klein's visitors that had happened towards the end of the year. And that is, again, Freedom of Information Act. And they can say what is exempt information and what is non-exempt information that they can provide. And as I waited for that and for that to be under review, I want to make sure I have the, as I thought about it, didn't pop it up while I'm talking. It was a public request, a public records request. And basically, it was an interesting reply because the records requested are exempt from disclosure, meaning that the records will now not be provided. And it was not provided due to particular law, which I found very interesting. Check if I can read a part of it here to you. And this was from David Vitek. He's the Chief Deputy of Miami County Sheriff's Office. And we've been communicating back and forth. So here we go. I won't read the entire thing to you. I don't want to bore you. I may end up putting that completely all online later, but so this is Miami County Sheriff's Office. You know, the Timothy Hunter as sheriff. So it talks about the basics for exempts. And it talks about two different laws that it'll allow, which is exempt from disclosure, criminal intelligent information, allows a public agency to deny disclosure of criminal intelligence information in whole or in part. So MCSD maintains that release of the requested records may compromise an ongoing or open criminal investigation, including the identification of an individual reasonably suspected of involvement in a criminal activity and the criminal activity engaged in. So the response was from that. It noted the law. There's some more stuff in there. But I thought that was interesting because early on in the case, the records were shared with the murder sheet, and they were able to get that public records info, and people were crossed out of who they didn't want them to see. But I do think that the interesting timing of it is this would have been during the timing of who is seeing Keegan Kline before the Wabash River is searched, and who is looking and seeing when he transfers and talking to him before maybe he transferred over there. And what case could we be talking about? Are we talking about the CSAM case? Because they're already pleading that stuff down and the information's already out there. Or could it be that there are discussions going on about something else? And that's why we cannot see the visitation records at this time. So I did want to throw that out there. Also, I am working on a case that has, interestingly enough, deep dive into a couple areas. And it was a actual boy who went missing in Indiana. And they have still not solved this case, over 45 years old. And they had to actually go into and look into two separate serial killers, whether he was the victim of. One of the killers being here in Indiana, not very well known, and an additional one known in Illinois. So that case I am finishing up details and stuff on. Obviously, my illness slowed me down there, but I have missed you a lot. And thank you for joining me. And thank you for helping us make sure that justice is served daily. Goodbye, everybody.